Oops, I neglected to remove the bed rollers during the original teardown. They wouldn't rotate and were completely seized, but hopefully they will clean up okay. At least they popped out painlessly. Cleaning, cleaning, and more cleaning. I am determined to turn this old girl from a crusty ogre back into the beautiful princess that I know she is. All she'll need is a gentle touch from my buttery soft hands and true love's kiss in the form of steel wires spinning at high speeds. To remove most of the heavy rust from the planer bed, I started off using a maroon Scotch-Brite pad, working in opposite directions and over multiple passes, in a desperate bid to preserve my career as a hand model. I donned vinyl gloves before starting, which ended up proving to be a complete waste of effort. I had orange fingernails for days, but I got several nice compliments, so there's that. The liquid is this stuff called Top Saver that I've used previously on my table saw with good success. It has both rust removal and rust prevention properties because the solution contains some dissolved waxes that protect newly cleaned surfaces from immediately flash rusting. In my case, I used mineral spirits several times between applications to strip off the wax, as it tends to gum up the smaller pads on my die grinder if it completely dries. After the bulk of the rust was removed, I switched over to using a die grinder with these twist lock Scotch-Brite pads to remove some of the surface staining and do some basic polishing. It's unlikely that this neglected top will ever look perfect without fly cutting or grinding, but I don't mind. I'll love this old girl anyway. With the planer bed mostly cleaned up, I'll check the table for level, warping, or dishing later. I'm hoping that the surface won't require any additional machining. A combination of various brushes chucked into my drill worked pretty well for cleaning. This was after most of the paint had already been stripped in the last video. The sides and bottom of the bed took quite a while to clean. Lots of angles and crevices to work around. I suppose that getting the underside super clean isn't really a necessity, but I wanted to make sure that I got most of the rust and any loose material so that the paint would adhere properly. A touch less OCD probably would have helped me here too. cleaning the underside of the shaving hood, I could still detect the sweet perfume of pine from the residue of years of old sap buildup. If I had to do this all over again, I would use the handheld drill only for the big pieces and switch to using my drill press for the smaller stuff. Getting to my drill press, however, would mean that I'd have to dig through a big pile of my own mess. It's a continual source of amazement to me how quickly I can junk up my workspace. Bunch of little parts that all needed attention. One nice helper here were the small, round steel brushes that I found on Amazon. Cleaning out all the various through holes was made much easier. The bristles were really stiff and held up well even after being forced through parts several times. I'll put a link in the description if you're in need of some for your own projects. They worked great. That corded drill definitely got a workout today and earned its money. As I was working through the smaller parts and seeing how badly some of them had gotten rusted, I think I've decided that I'm going to do some electroplating for many of the pieces, particularly those that require wrench adjustments. I live in an area with pretty high humidity, so unprotected metal in my garage rusts pretty quickly. I can, of course, protect with paint, but if it's on a part that requires periodic adjustment, I'll just end up chowdering up the paint surface with wrenches or screwdrivers. Coated parts look nice, and I'm shallow enough to believe that guests coming over to my house will be way impressed with my shiny planer parts. Gearbox was surprisingly clean after only having the paint stripped. Once the grease and old paint was off, there wasn't a whole lot else to do. The cleaning process took the better part of 2/3 of a day, and this video is already getting pretty long. I think I'll split up the cleaning and painting processes into separate videos. See you next time.